and happy Thursday. Welcome back to another Thursday night live stream. Said Thursday twice. This is Clifton. Welcome to Bourbon Bites. That's what I was supposed to say. Still haven't nailed my intro down, but thank y'all so much for tuning in, whether you're watching live or watching the replay. Very excited for tonight's stream. I actually haven't done a stream like this in years, which there's reasons. I have my reasons, but tonight we're going to be reviewing all 4 batches of Booker's Bourbon from 2024. So I previously had the Springfield batch, but I had not had the other 3 for the year. But I was like, you know what? Let me give it a shot. Let me give Booker's. I haven't done a full lineup probably since 2020, to be honest. But tonight we're going to try all 4 and see if any of them are worth your money, because I have thoughts on that too. But first of all, of course, many of you know I am in Southern California. I am unfortunately very close to the fires. So I'm safe. I'm all good. Might lose some internet at some point during this stream. It's been in and out the past few days. Thankfully, we've had our power. But yes, I want to say acknowledge and acknowledge our fire service men and women and everyone working to control these crazy, unprecedented fires across Los Angeles. It's so sad to see so many people lose their homes. Some people lose their lives, pets, wildlife. It's just really tragic. So my thoughts are with everyone. If anyone needs anything, you're local and you just don't have anyone or have any friends, please let me know. I have a whiskey room that's available if needed. But yes, stay safe. If you have an evacuation order, please adhere to it. I know we like to think like, oh, it's fine. It won't come this far. We saw how quickly that spread. So, but yes, I'm safe. I'm good. But yeah, this one hit a little too close to home for my liking. So, but thank you for tuning in tonight. Hopefully it's getting my mind off of it for a little bit, because that's all I've been thinking about over the past couple of days. Like, just even going outside, like today, it just smells awful of smoke and fire. I could see the flames from our building, so it's not a very fun couple of days. But we're here to drink some bourbon. So I want to say hello to some folks. Zofer is updating his computer. Oh, he's back just in time. Nice. That was a fast update. Donnie says he's awake for now. Oh yes, Donnie has a new sleep schedule, I guess, with the new job. Good to see you, Donnie and Zofer. Donnie's one of our incredible mods, Zofer, and they're both patrons as well. Tater Dom is here. Matthew Parks, one of our newest patrons, is here as well. Donnie's asking about the fires. Yes, all safe. Scary few days, but very safe so far. Sean is here. And yeah, so we're going to get the party started, right? So Booker's. Y'all have heard me rant about Booker's probably too many times on this channel. Long story short, used to buy Booker's, used to buy it all the time. Used to buy every batch, probably from like 2018 to 2020, every batch. I thought it was a great value. We were lucky to get it for like $55 to $60 for a while. It went up. It like slowly went up in other parts of the country, but here in Los Angeles area, it kind of went from 55 and immediately shot up to like 80, and then it skipped 90 and went to 100. So it changed very quickly. That's kind of when I noticed the quality. I think we all kind of did. Quality wasn't necessarily this high standard that it was of previous batches, plus price going up means I don't know if I want to buy every batch. So I stopped. A lot of people stopped. And I would have an occasional one-off, bottle. And I was like, I like it. Do I want to start collecting them all again? Not necessarily. But this year, I really did like the Springfield batch from earlier 2024. So I was like, you know what? Let's just try it. It's been several years. Let's do a Booker's flight of all 4 of them. So I have all 4 in front of me. Now, the only one I've actually tried is the 2024-01 Springfield batch. And we're going to go through each of these and what they are. But we have the Springfield batch. We have the Beam House batch. Again, brand new bottle. Did break the seal a little bit earlier tonight. The 2024-03. This is the Master Distillers batch. If that'll focus. Yeah. Again, I'll go through the details of all these shortly. And lastly, we have the brand new, latest batch. That is the Jimmy's batch, which is a tribute to Jimmy Russell from Wild Turkey. So that's kind of the one that got me thinking. I really wanted this bottle because I thought it was really cool that they were paying a tribute to Jimmy. I mean, one of my favorite people in the industry, one of most people's favorite people in the industry. So I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to buy the first batch and the fourth batch, I might as well buy the other 2, because why not? But yeah, so thank you all so much for tuning in. Let me get them. Let me go ahead and get these poured. So they have an equal opportunity to open up. Like I said, 3 of these are brand new bottles, and then one I've had for a while, but I haven't drank it in a while. So I thought, I didn't want to like kind of. I kind of like when I go a period of time without drinking something before I review it because I feel like it gives me kind of like a palate reset a bit versus like if I would have just drank it like the past few nights or whatever, I would already kind of have a opinion on it. Right now I don't. I know I liked it enough to consider buying another batch from this year, so that's good. But yeah, I don't about tasting notes or anything like that. I don't have any. I think I reviewed this on the channel, but it's been quite a while. Ooh, that was a good cork pop. But we're gonna go through them individually and then we're gonna rate them. Ooh, I poured a lot of that one, so I hope I like 2024-03 because I just poured a lot of it. If not, it'll make it to the after party, which of course we do every Thursday evening after live streams. That's for everyone $10 and up on Patreon. If you want to join Patreon, patreon.com/bourbonbites. It's an awesome community of whiskey loving folks. Most of them are over on our Discord channel as well, which we have some other hangouts. We have a lot of chat rooms about different things. I just posted about a trip that I'm planning to Europe not later this year, literally in a couple months. So I'm looking for suggestions for things to do. So yeah, if you guys want to join us, the Discord server link is, if you go to bourbonbites.com, spelled like it is on my channel, you can see a link to our Discord server and join us there. It's a really fun community. Let's see. Viking Bourbon, what's up? Good to see you. Matthew Park says, need to pour in 2 bottles, both pre-2022. Yeah, the price really went up. Matthew said, saw a bottle of Jimmy's batch online for 105 plus shipping. Is it worth it? Great question. We're going to find out. No, I mean, for me, so what I paid, for Jimmy's batch, I think I paid 100. But I didn't have to pay shipping because it was at a local store. But a couple of them were for 90, which I thought was a pretty good price. But yeah, that's about retail these days. Thank you, Donnie, for dropping the Patreon. I always forget to put it in the description, but if you guys, there's the link right there. We also have our monthly movie night, which we are going to maybe do this Friday. I haven't actually asked folks. I can't remember if we decided on a movie or not already for January. I know February we want to do like a rom-com, like an 80s rom-com. That's just kind of the theme. We've done it a couple years back. But I feel like January is open range. We just did Gremlins for Christmas, which is kind of a Christmas movie, but also a horror movie. So if y'all have suggestions for some 80s movies for us to watch, 1, join the Discord, 2, join Patreon for as little as $5 a month. Get access to that. All right. So let's get started with the Booker's Flight. I'm going to rinse my palate a little bit. I was drinking, I actually got my first bottle of the Old Forester single barrel proof rye. First one I've seen in years, so I was kind of sipping on that, and I need to reset my palate because that is very much not what we're drinking tonight. But the mash bill of Booker's is 77% corn, 13% rye, and 10% malted barley. So these are all the same mash bill. All right, so this first one, this is the 2024-01. This is the one that I've had before. This is the Springfield batch. Like I said, I may have reviewed it on the channel. Cannot quite remember. Coming in at 62.25% ABV or 124.5 proof. Age is 7 years, 7 months, and 8 days, which is relatively high for boogers these days. I do have some info here. I have little cards, little trading cards for each of these. So this one is, that's 02. The colors are so similar. Usually they're so different, but this year they're kind of similar. So, 01. Here we go. Found it. So I'm not going to read the whole story, but you can find this online if you go to the Booker's website. It does say that this batch is made up of 5 production dates stored in 4 different aging warehouses. So 17% is from the 5th floor of warehouse G, 7% is the 4th floor of warehouse H, 31% is the 5th floor of warehouse Z, and 45% comes from the 4th floor of warehouse 3. Now, for most of us, including myself, that really means nothing. But there are tasting notes here. We're gonna. I don't like reading those during a stream because I feel like I'm easily influenced. I'm not gonna lie. So we're gonna go through. We're gonna taste it, but then we might go back to that at the end. But let's go and get started with our first one. Let me know what you guys are drinking. If you guys have a Booker's, let me know which batch it is. Like I said, used to buy it almost every batch. So if it's pre-2020, I've probably had it. I've had some few random ones here and there in between. Weird Science, yes. I actually think we already watched that one. I'll have to go back to my list of what we watched on Patreon. Emily's here. What's up, Emily? Good to see you. Emily's one of our incredible mods here on the channel. All bookers, yes, all bookers. It's been a while since I've done it, but I'm very, very excited. Emily says, I just have popcorn. Hey, you are all set for the movie night. All right. Okay, on the nose, it is. I don't want to say traditional bookers because like it's been a while since I've had a bookers. I can't really say what a booker's nose is like. A booker's nose. Get it? Booker no. Okay. Anyway, sorry. I can't say that it smells like bookers, but it is a classic Jim Beam note. That nuttiness, particularly. I haven't said this word on the channel in so long, but that nut skin note. Like I'm talking about the very thin layer of skin on top of a peanut, like a roasted peanut. I know y'all know what I'm talking about, but I feel so awkward talking about it. But that specifically has a bitterness to it that not obviously not the shell. Like I'm not eating the shells. Although okay, that's a whole nother story. But the thin layer of like skin on the outside of a peanut, to me, it has a little bit of bitterness, but it still has the nutty, the saltiness. If you eat the peanut with the shell, that's the nose I'm getting on this one. Yeah, it's a little bit roasty. Like I said, like a roasted peanuts is what I'm getting on this. Now that's not always the case. Sometimes with Jim Beam I get more of like a raw peanut or like a I don't know. Like it's this one's very particularly roasted on the nose. That barrel influence is really prominent. Now I said this was 7 years, 7 months. That's one of the oldest ones I've had in a while. But yeah, really like the nose. Again, I'm a huge fan of the Jim Beam flavor profile. I've constantly said that Jim Beam is one of my top 3 distilleries for sure. So I'm really excited to do another Booker's Flight. It's been a while. All right, let's try the 2024-01. Cheers, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, happy Thursday. Happy almost weekend. Yeah, that's like I said at the beginning of the stream. This is the Bookers that made me think I might want to try more Bookers because I'm like, oh, is it as full bodied and rich and like some of the older Bookers were really special. Do I think it's that caliber? No, but it is a flavor profile I really enjoy. To me, this is even though it's coming in at what is it 124.5 proof, it drinks so easily for that high proof. Has a really thick mouthfeel, which I think is helping out. It's almost, I don't want to say it's like syrup like, it's obviously not, but it has that really dense viscosity that I think helps with some of these higher proof whiskeys. When it's thin and high proof, that's where I usually struggle. But this is rich, this is thick. Yeah, I can't remember who convinced me to buy this bottle of the 01. It may have been Jason from the Mash and Drum. I think he was talking about it one time. He's like, oh, you should give it a try. So I did. I'm glad I did. Yeah, really rich mouthfeel. Flavor wise, I mean, it can't get more Jim Beam, older Jim Beam, not even older Jim Beam, because I don't want to say like a knob. It's not. Knob Creek has such a older oak note that I really enjoy. I love me some older Knob Creek. This doesn't have that. It's like if you strip an older Knob Creek from that oakiness, there's still oakiness there, but not to the level like an old Knob Creek is. But leave all the other character that you can get from a Knob Creek. That's what this reminds me of. I really like it. It's $100 up there in price, right? But I think it comes. Well, first of all, I mean y'all know, but these Bookers come in these really cool boxes. Usually, it does come in a cool box. I reused one of these to make a smoker once to do smoked cocktails. I see some people use them as storage, so you do get a little bonus with it. But I think for the price, I think it's a fair price. A bit high, yes, but we'll see if they keep it up. This is just the first one of 2024. We got 3 new ones to try, so we'll see if I feel that it's worth sticking with every batch of Bookers, or if there's specific batches that really do outshine the others. We'll find out. Sorry, I've been neglecting the chat for a minute while I was going on that rant. Matthew Park says, start with Bakers. Yeah, I don't have any Bakers, but that's a good place to start for sure. Sean said it's not an 80s movie, but I just watched Zulu. I'm not familiar with that. Spanish Peanuts, okay. I'm also not familiar with Spanish Peanuts. Just saw a Warner Bros. YouTube channel post of the original 1984 Amadeus. I've heard of it. I don't even know what that is, but I've heard of it. It's been I feel like I'm yelling at clouds on my kids say these days. Oh, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just a figure of speech, right? Northwest Bourbon is here. Cheers. Don't forget to hit the like button. Yes, you guys, if you are enjoying the show, whether you're watching it live or the replay, that thumbs up does mean a lot. Your number 3 liking, awesome. Appreciate that. Matthew Park said I use my Booker's box to store used corks. Love that. I've seen people do that. That's a really cool use of it. I have a I could put my I put my corks, my like, because I think everyone like keeps some corks on hand just in case a cork breaks, which happens unfortunately too often. I just had one happen recently. I forgot what bottle that was. It was a Scotch. But yeah, I love having a variety of corks available. I actually put mine in a Blanton's bag, but I think a Booker's box is cooler. Like it's more of display. Mine's just like in the bottom of my drawer. I just have a Blanton's bag down there that just has a ton of corks in it. So got my tater cork bag. But all right, let's move on to our second Booker's. We're gonna go through and I'm gonna rank these at the end, like I typically do. But we're gonna taste through them all first, give them a bit of time. This next one is called the Beam House Batch. So there you go. This one is 124.6 proof. 7 years, 2 months, and 22 days. So, I mean, I say a little bit younger, but it's only like 5 months younger. So it's really not notably younger. I am curious, like the name Beam House, right? There is a iconic house, the family home that is on their property. If you visited the Jim Beam Distillery, this is just talking about it's the history of the house, who's lived there. Booker No lived there, of course. Jim Beam lived there. That's why they call it the Beam House. Jim Beam lived there. Booker No lived there. And now, Fred No does and his family. So just talking about the history, his memories of the house. Very, very cool. Now, what's in the bottle? Let's see. Like I said the age. 14% is from Warehouse Z. 28% is from Warehouse 3 on the 4th floor. 14% is also from the 4th floor of Warehouse 3. So I guess it's just a different barrel. But it's weird that it shows the same info. Interesting. Okay. 19% is the 5th floor of Warehouse Q, and 25% is the 7th floor of Warehouse H. Again, doesn't necessarily mean anything to me, but there's the info for you right there if you want to pause that. Again, I don't want to read the tasting notes. We'll come back to those, see how mine align to it. Oak graded at 114 proof. Agreed. Fantastic bottle. You know what's weird? I saw that all over the shelves in the Carolinas, but I hardly can find it in Southern California. I guess it just either doesn't get distributed very often out here or not as popular or super popular. I don't know, but that's everywhere in the Carolinas. I should have bought one, but that would have been a crazy bottle to fly back with, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm bringing this $28 bottle with me, but you know what? Whatever. All right, 2024-02 the Beam House Batch. Relatively different nose. I would say the yeah, that's weird. The original one, the one that I loved, the shoot, I forget what it's called now. What was the first one? Springfield batch has that lovely roasted note to it. This one doesn't have that, like, at all. It does have some like peanut butter qualities to it, I would say. But it honestly smells very alcohol forward. Now it is a fresh crack, so that's the disclaimer there. Yeah. I mean, I'm not getting too much on the nose. I mean, I'm getting like a generic nuttiness, but not anything that's kind of blowing my mind on the nose. Maybe this is one that I need to have a taste of before I can have an opinion. All right, let's try it. 2024-02. Cheers. Okay. Another disclaimer: I've not watched any or read any reviews of these. So, if one of these is super popular and I'm about to crap on it, sorry. But if maybe other people agree, I don't know. Let me know in the comments after I have an opinion, because my opinion on this, I don't love it. It's not as rich and viscous as the Springfield batch is. To me, this one does drink a little thinner, which makes the heat burn a little bit more. It's not awful. I mean, I think it's it drinks its proof. I think the other one drank a little bit lower than its proof, but I don't know. Maybe I need a second sip on that one. That one, I don't know. That one just didn't quite do it for me tonight. I will also notice that the color is a little bit lighter than the other two, the next two that we're going to be drinking. So that'll be interesting to see. I was actually no, never mind. The Jimmy's batch is actually the lightest color. So the darkest it's hard to show this on camera, but the darkest is the Master Distillers batch. The second darkest is the Springfield. The third darkest is the Beam House batch. And the lightest to me is the Jimmy's batch. I don't know if you can see. That is really light for a Booker. So this is showing you the lightest. This is the Jimmy's batch. And then this is the Master Distillers batch. So pretty dramatic color difference there on those two. The other are all kind of like a gradient, somewhere in between. But yeah, even the second sip of that one, wow. Okay, in the chat, has anyone, or in the comments if you're watching the replay, has anyone had the Beam House batch? Did you like it? If you liked it, is it because it's, just the only one you have? Or have you compared it to other Bookers and you still like it, which is totally cool. But I'm just curious because to me, this one kind of falls pretty flat compared to at least the first one. We have two more to go through, but I'm really curious to hear. Yeah. It's nutty and it's very simple. It's to me almost one note. And y'all know I'm very I don't want to say one note because this one does have some cinnamon on the back end. It's a nice cinnamon flavor, but it really doesn't go anywhere. So I don't know. I'm not loving it, but we'll go back. We'll taste through it again once I've tried all four of them. But so far that one is not doing it for me. It's okay. It's okay. I don't have to love everyone. This is kind of why I haven't bought them. Like I said, I've not written them off completely, but I've just definitely been a lot more particular about them. I don't just randomly go out and buy every Booker's. What's up, Bourbon Noob? Patrick's in the house. Still haven't opened my Master Distillers batch. Well, if you're looking for a reason, I'm about to open mine right now. So that's actually what I'm moving to next. Well, good segue. Thank you for that, Patrick. So we're going to move on to our 2024-03. Now, this one, I love the name of it, too. This one is, first of all, it's really, you can see I tried to do my colors in the background based on this label. It's a cool label. I went a little too purple, but this is the 24-03. This one comes in at 130.3 proof, so it's high proof, and it's 7 years, 8 months, 7 days. So it's the oldest one we've tried so far, the highest proof one we've tried so far. Like I said, the color on this one is really, really rich. So I'm really excited to see what this one's all about. I'm stuck in Abilene until tomorrow. I don't know what that is, but hopefully you're there for work and not because of fires. Like triggered by people like being in different places. So many of my coworkers have had to relocate to other places. So hopefully you're there for work or for travel. But okay. Well, watch the replay tomorrow, Patrick, and open your bottle if you want to. All right, so here's the card for the 03. Again, really love that color. That's a little closer to my lights. A little bit closer. That was intentional, by the way. Texas and snow. Oh, gotcha. Okay. So this is really hard to read. It says it's called the Master Distillers Batch to honor the men that shaped my career in the bourbon industry. The batch is made up of 2 production dates stored in 4 different aging warehouses. That would explain. You know how we said the other one was like, that says the same thing twice. It's probably just 2 different ages of the bourbon from that area. All right, so this one is 10% from warehouse Z. 11. Oh, so these are high floors. 10% from the 6th floor of warehouse Z. 11% from the 6th floor of warehouse I. 42% from the 6th floor of warehouse 3. And 37% from the 3rd floor of warehouse J. I will say, I've noticed that this is the highest. These are all the highest of all the ones we've had so far. And people do say that the height of a barrel in a rickhouse does affect the flavor. So we'll see. These that could also explain why it's so much darker in color. Just for comparison, let me show you the one we just had, which was the 02. That one was the 02. They come 5th floor, 4th floor, 4th floor, 5th floor, 7th floor. There was a 7th floor one there. And then the first one we had, the 01. Very similar. 5th floor, 4th floor, 5th floor, 4th floor. So this is the highest floor, the oldest, and the highest proof. So I'm very excited. That's putting me in. It's making me excited for this release. Let's see. Let's go ahead and give it a nose. Ooh, yeah, that I inhaled too deeply because the last one I had to inhale deeply to actually get a nose on it. Let me prepare myself more now. There we go. That's really rich. Not as it's a little bit toasty, a little bit. I mean, sorry, roasty. The Springfield batch. That's such a beautiful nose on that one. That's like tobacco. Like just comparatively, the Springfield batch is just a beautiful, like raw tobacco note. This one's not as much. It's definitely more oak forward, which is not a bad thing. The oak influence on this one has really amped up those darker flavors. It does have a similar note. It does have a little bit of that tobacco, but to me, it's more of like a darker leather, like a really like an old leather bound book, or like a I don't know. I don't want to say saddle leather because like honestly, like I've ridden horses, like I have, but I don't recall the smell of the leather. But it's like an old, yeah, like a really old like leather bound book is what I think of with this one. The nuttiness is there, but it's way darker. Like it's hidden beneath this really rich oaky. I don't know. I know knowing what I love in bourbon, especially Jim Beam bourbon. I'm really excited for this one. I'm so excited based on that nose. I hope it holds up. Let's find out. 2024 03 Master Distillers batch. Oh, oh, okay. Hmm. Really, really long finish on that one. Spoiler alert, this tastes the most like the older Bookers that I used to love. I always thought Bookers had such an exceptional. It felt like it was the cream of the crop, right? Like it felt like it was like hand selected as some of the best barrels in a really interesting blend. I've not always felt that about Bookers, aka with the I hate the crap on this one already. The Beams House batch. To me, that it drinks fine. This though, the Master Distillers batch, really. I mean, that is almost savory. If you don't like a savory bourbon, if you're looking for something sweeter, this might not be the one for you. But this almost has a like, I guess umami. Like it's the flavor. I've not used that word very often on the channel because I feel like I struggle to find what whiskey could do that, especially in bourbon. But that, yeah, it's like a savory, a little bit of like a. Let me go for another taste before I judge it. It's sweet. I caught myself saying like, "Oh, it's not sweet at all." It is sweet, but it's surrounded by such rich tannic. I mean, it tingles the tongue. It numbs the tongue a little bit, and that could just be the oak and the age. Wow, that is a really dark bourbon. It tastes older than 7 years. I would, if you blinded me with this, I would guess at least 12. I mean, that really does drink like an older bourbon. And I probably consider the fact that it's in the higher rick house, at the higher levels of the rick house. That's one that I want to think on. I really enjoy that. I think if any of these could benefit from some water, it would be that one. Unfortunately, I don't have my water in front of me, but I typically drink these neat anyway, so I don't necessarily need to do that. But that one, I don't want to say I have a favorite. We haven't tried Jimmy's batch yet, but that is that is good. That is really really good. Sean says I'm stuck out inside of Mobile, Alabama, I assume, with those Memphis blues. Oh, this is a song. Wow, I was overanalyzing it. Leather-bound books and rich mahogany. Oh, yes, yes. That sounds very, very close to what I'm getting here. Who misses Old Grandad Bottle and Bond until it was gone? Oh, it's still available. At least in the Carolinas, it's available. I've definitely seen it out here in Southern California too. It's the 114 that's hard to find. Zover said, "Shoot, I saw the last batch at Costco for 29 bucks. Oh, sorry, I said 29 bucks, 79 bucks. Got 29 bucks by the whole shelf. 79. Ah, yeah, that's a great price. I think I paid 89 for this, so not too much different. Yes, stay safe, very much. I was on my spending hiatus though, so I had to pass. Listen, I'm trying to do good this year with my spending. I've definitely, you know, I've already kind of started hard with these, but I wanted to complete the collection. I already had two of them, so I was like, let me go ahead and buy the other two. It's for the channel, right? It's for Patreon. Patreon makes all this possible. Is all I have to say. But man, that is a delicious bourbon. That is, I'm almost, question for the chat. I was gonna say I'm almost sad that I didn't try that before the end of the year because that would have made my top 10 of the year for 2024. But like I said, if I don't have a chance to try it, I'm not gonna buy literally every single bourbon that's released every single year. Sorry, I don't have the funds for that. Do y'all think if I were to try, like, since I did try this in 2025, would it make sense to have this as a contender of a top bourbon of 2025, even though it's a 2024 batch? Let me know your thoughts, because I don't want to like piss anyone off by that. But I feel like this. I mean, it's only 9 days into the year, but this could go to be one of the best things I've tried all year. Definitely, it's one of the best things I've tried all year. So let me know. I'm okay either way. It doesn't affect me. It's more for how I would say it to you. System Trend, welcome. I did a 2024 Booker's Blind with friends, and my order was Jimmy's, Beam House, and Springfield, and then Masters. Oh, interesting. So you put this one last. I'm wondering if maybe just like we look for different things in the Bookers, because I will say I really love Springfield. Masters is my favorite. Beam House didn't quite do it for me. I have not tried Jimmy's. I'm about to go to that next. So let me try that. But if you look for like more of like a fruity kind of quality, I look for that really dark oak. That's what I look for, at least in some Beam products. So I'm curious to hear if you remember, why Jimmy's was your favorite or the other ones. Would love to know, because I think everyone looks for something different in bourbon. With Jim Beam specifically, I look for that nuttiness, that dark roasty nuttiness, and oak. So that one, a little lackluster on the nuttiness, but like the oak was all there. Delicious. All right, let's move on to 2024-04. This is the last batch of 2024. This is called Jimmy's batch, which at first I was like, oh, okay, they're just naming it after, one of their team members. And I was like, oh, wait, no, Jimmy, like Jimmy Russell. Holy crap. This is Jim Beam honoring Jimmy Russell, which is from Wild Turkey, if you didn't know. This is 62.9% ABV, 125.8, 7 years, 9 months. So this one's actually the oldest one we've done, but it's a little bit lower proof. Now, this one I definitely want to read a little bit of the story on. Not sure if yummy is a tasting note. It absolutely is. Your yummy and my yummy might be different. I have a rule on my Discord: don't yum anyone's yuck, or don't yuck anyone's yum. That's more. You can yum someone's yuck if you want to, but don't yuck anyone's yum. So if someone loves something and you're like, that's disgusting. How could you like that? Don't say that. You can be like, oh, I don't like that, but don't be like, I hate that. That's disgusting. What's wrong with you? No. So I have very few rules on the Discord, but that is one of them. All right, let's get the card for this one. I do want to read this one because this one's a fun one. Like I said, it's in honor of Jimmy Russell. This batch is named in honor of Master Distiller Jimmy Russell, living legend for bourbon lovers everywhere, and one of my dad's dearest peers, competitors, and more importantly, friends. Jimmy was like a second father to me after Dad passed away, and I've learned a hell of a lot from him over the years. There are many life lessons to thank him for, but here are a few that stand out to me. Once at a bourbon festival, Jimmy came up to my dad and me and poured out 3 glasses of whiskey he wanted us to taste. It was some real nice stuff, and when Dad asked what it was, Jimmy said it was something new he was working on, something special. I thought it was pretty cool to bring a new product to a competitor and ask what they think. It showed me the importance of trust and camaraderie, and just how much those old-timers respect each other. The other big thing Jimmy taught me was to treat everybody like I wanted to be treated. When we went to events at bars or liquor stores, he always stayed late to make sure everyone got their picture taken and their bottle signed. By the way, I have got my picture taken with Jimmy and my bottle signed. This Wild Turkey 101 up here. That was a really cool experience. Sorry, I lost my place. It's easy to take for granted that we get to do what we do because of the people that stand in line for our whiskey, but Jimmy never did. Just like Dad, there are a few things Jimmy loves more than a damn good bottle of bourbon. So cheers to him and the mentorship he's given me throughout thick and thin all these years. I hope you get to share a glass with company as good and true as Jimmy. So I just think it's really cool. It says a close friend to my dad and second father figure to me since my dad's passing in 2024. That was written, of course, by Fred No. So let's go to the breakdown of this one. So 12% came from 5th floor of warehouse Z, 20% came from 5th floor of warehouse I, 46% came from warehouse 3, 22% came from warehouse Q. So 3 different production dates stored in 4 different warehouses. So a little bit lower floors. A lot of them are from 3, surprisingly, this year. Warehouse 3 must have done really well because all of these have whiskey from Warehouse 3 in it. Master drank super hot and had a weird aftertaste. Jimmy's was really sweet and yummy. Okay, totally fair. All right, let me do a palate cleanse real quick before I try Jimmy's batch. All right. So, coming in about 125 proof. Let's give it a nose. These are all so different on the nose. This one's a little more hard to get, not nearly as hard to get as the Beam House. Even now, the Beam House is just really hard to get a nose on. This one, a little ethanol, but not as like light and thin. Like it definitely takes a minute to travel. It's sweet. This definitely smells the sweetest of them all. Like a bit of like a honey, not like fruity sweet. It's still like a honey. I mean, we're talking nuttiness. This is like a honey roasted peanut. Not getting hardly any oak on this one. Maybe a little bit of like, a little bit of like younger oak. Not that really rich, dense, old, dry oak that I was getting on the other one. It's a little more wet. I like it. I like it on the nose. It's definitely up there. I'm just curious how it's going to be on the palate compared to that last one being such an intense flavor. So let's go ahead and try Jimmy's Batch 2024-04. Cheers. Mmm. Oh, that's nice. The question, if you see this, like you're like, are they trying to replicate Wild Turkey's flavor profile? Is it kind of like a tribute, like, hey, we made a whiskey that tastes like Wild Turkey? On first sip, I don't think so. This is very much a Jim Beam product, but a very different one. I mean, that goes off the rails for a flavor profile. Not nearly as, even though these three were all different, they were all very much like classic. This kind of goes a different direction. And I'm thinking I like it. Let me go for another taste. That was just first sip. Mm. Definitely more sweet and mellow at the front. Mid palate, it kind of feels like it ramps up, and then the finish, it hits you with the heat on the back end. So it is hot, but the finish is really. I mean, I always say with some of my favorite whiskeys take me on a journey across the palate. This definitely did. Hit sweet, mid palate, I could feel it ramping up, then bam, big hit crescendo, and then the finish kind of tapered off. That was a really fantastic whiskey. Wow. Very non-like boogers. I'm trying to find where I would place this. Yeah, I'm in. Third sip, same flavor experience. Sweet, build, bam. I like it a lot. This is very balanced. This is, while I love the Master Distillers blend, that's a very much a cliffy flavor profile. That is something that I really enjoy. This though, this Jimmy's batch is one that I think can be enjoyed by a lot of people, even if you don't love those dark, really rich notes. This is delicious. I see why you put it number one, system trend. I think, yeah, this is. I mean, I haven't ranked them yet, but like that is a fantastic bourbon. Man, if all of these batches were as good as I thought the last two were, I would be buying every batch again. Now it's like half were really good, half were amazing. The other half, one I enjoyed and one I didn't really care for. So it's like, oh, kind of a dilemma here. The majority I liked. There's that. But I'm gonna go back through Jimmy's batch. Wow. I mean, tasting notes. I'm trying to describe that one for you because that one I want to describe more than just the experience. It kind of does remind me of a. Hmm. I literally said like, oh, I don't think they're trying to replicate the wild turkey flavor profile, but there are some similar characteristics there to some wild turkey, more on the spicy back end. Spicy back end, but like on the back part of the palate, like it's spicy, kind of like some Russells are. Not that I don't think that was intentional. I mean, I can't speak for them, but I will say If you like wild turkey, you might would like that one because that spice on the end of the palate. Man, delicious. Love it. All right, I'm gonna go back through. I'm gonna go back through and we're gonna rank them. Um, that's my honest first impressions of these. First impressions, really, the Master Distillers blend and the Jimmy's blend or batch, sorry, or knockouts. They're incredible. Let me revisit the Beam House one. That was the one that I didn't really care for. Let me go back to it though. It's maybe had a bit to open up. A little bit more in the nose. It's kind of like a not my favorite nose. It's a little musty. Musty is a weird note. There's just really not. It's a lot of ethanol. It's like you go in a dusty room and you breathe in and like you kind of like stops your nose a bit. Getting a little bit of that on the Jimmy's house or Jimmy's. No, not Jimmy's house. Beam House. Wow, they're all blending together. Yeah, that is very passable. Like in a bad way. Like some people say passable in a good way. That I would pass on. Like if someone gave me a pour of it, sure. But if I had only bought this one and this is the only Bookers I had for this year, I would be severely disappointed, almost to the point where I'd be upset, and I would not buy another Bookers for a very long time. If the Beam House, which is the 2024-02, was the only one. I'm not upset about it because I have the full lineup and I'm glad I had a chance to try it. I will gladly drink this, but I think this tastes like the reason that a lot of people gave up on Booker's. It's good. It's not great, but for the price point, for like $90 to $100, I'm like, there are so many other bourbons I'd rather have than this one. So my last place, yeah, the Beam House batch has to go in my last place. Again, everyone has different opinions. If you love it, that's amazing. But for me personally, it goes in my last place. Let me go to the Springfield batch. This is the one that I liked enough to, buy the rest of them. Again, nice roasty note. Am I still live? I feel like the chat's no offense, like no offense to you guys in the chat being quiet, but I get nervous when I'm like, oh, I don't see any. Okay, there's comments. When I don't see anything for like more than like 8 minutes, I'm like, oh shoot, am I still live? System Trend said, I will say that me and my friends also blinded many different years of Bookers, and 2024 is the hardest year to decide, which means 2024 is mostly good. Fair enough. That's good to hear. Matthew's still here. Oh, I appreciate it. I just, when I see that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, not that I expect y'all to be chatting the whole time, but I'm like, uh-oh, did it freeze? Again, internet outages have been, like, messing with me here. It's been very smooth so far this evening. All right, let's go for a taste for the Springfield batch. That one's good. I mean, that's what I said at the beginning. Springfield batch is good. I don't think it's as good as the Master Distillers batch or the Jimmy's batch. It's a little more. It's approachable. It's the most approachable. That's kind of what I said at the beginning. Like it has a really viscous mouthfeel. It makes the proof not hit as hard, so it doesn't like overwhelm you with the high proof. Let's see what tasting notes they gave on that one. Let's see what they got on that one. They say the nose has a nice, pleasant aroma of sweet brown sugars and vanilla. The taste is balanced with pleasant heat. The finish is long and warm, which I appreciate during the cold days we experience in January here in Kentucky. Okay, so not too much tasting notes. Like I said, this one's really rich. I can see it being a perfect winter whiskey, like you said, warming. He talks more about the finish. For me, it's more about the viscosity. That's what I really love in a good whiskey, a winter whiskey. Yeah, that one's good, but I gotta decide which one's my favorite because Jimmy and the Master Distillers are very close for different reasons. Let me go back to the Master Distillers. God, it's a lovely nose, man. That is like less one that I said like was like more of a leather. Really dark. Y'all know I like the dark bourbons. Okay, I have an opinion. I'm gonna say it. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. My number one is the Master Distillers batch, but I have my reasons. Don't leave. I have my reasons. The 2024-03 is my favorite, but this is coming from someone that was very fortunate enough to have access to some of the older Knob Creek single barrel picks, the 13, 14, 15-year-old single barrel Knob Creek picks. This reminds me, not that they necessarily taste the same, but this reminds me of what I loved about those picks. That really rich oak character. This bottle has it. If you're someone that absolutely loved those older Knob Creeks, you will really, really enjoy this one. So maybe I'm a little bit biased. That's the reason I like that one. Oh no, I'm realizing my Whistle Pig glass has a scratch on it. It's very tiny though. It might be okay. I don't know. It's not. You see right there. It's more of like, it doesn't go all the way to the top, but this is usually the one I travel with, so it's like it probably gets cracked in travel. But man, that's my favorite because that's my note. That's my line. Sorry. I was gonna say Gen Xer joke. All right, Gen Alpha, I guess. I forget what we were talking about generations recently, and like I'm a millennial technically. I'm at the lower end of the millennial. I'm like right at the corner. I'm at like I was born in '93, so it's hard for me to relate to a lot of millennials. But I'm like I also don't relate with like Gen Alphas, but I do get their lingo. So I I don't have kids, but I feel like if I did, I would keep up with what they're saying. Lastly, Jimmy's Batch. That's got to be my second place. But for a lot of people, I think Jimmy's Batch may be your first place. That is just such a delicious pour. I could drink that all day, every day, and be very, very happy. Lower end millennial. I know. I didn't know how to describe it, Donnie. I'm sorry. This one, I think, is a crowd pleaser. I think the Jimmy's Batch, if you don't know, if you like that darker, richer note that I get on this one, this is the crowd pleaser. I can see so many people saying this being their favorite. One of their favorites of the year, probably. So, yeah, my first place is Master Distillers Batch. Second place is Jimmy's Batch. Third place is Springfield Batch. I still really enjoy that one. Last place for me, the one that didn't quite do it for me, the one I definitely wouldn't buy again. I'm not going to even say probably wouldn't buy again. I definitely wouldn't buy the Beam House Batch again. The other ones, I probably wouldn't buy the Springhouse Batch again. But if I saw another one of the Jimmy or the Master Distillers and I was getting kind of low, I would absolutely grab a backup of those two. So that's my honest first opinion of these Booker's batches of 2024. I feel bad Donner Pass just showed up. Good to see you. I just went through the ranking, but I know we were cutting a little bit short tonight just because, again, I've had a lot on my mind with the fires and everything, so I could use some time to just kind of relax and hang with you guys on Patreon, on Discord, but thank you all so much for tuning in live. Hope you enjoyed this live stream. Come back. If you tried these, come back and let me know what your favorite was. Or if you're getting to the 2025 ones, let me know how you think they compare. If you think they're as good as Jimmy's Batch and the Master Distillers Batch, let me know, and I will pick them up and give them a try. But these were all of the ones from last year. I know I'm late for it, but I'm glad I finally did it. Very, very happy. Until next time, this has been Bourbon Bites. We'll tune in for our movie night very soon on Discord if you are a patron. Join us for After Party Hangout, as always. Cheers. See you guys next Thursday. We have another Jim Beam themed stream coming. Don't want to spoil it too much, but it's Jim Beam themed. It's very seasonal. It's a seasonal Jim Beam stream. Let's just call it that. You'll see the thumbnail when it goes up. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the bell button to be notified next time I go live. Yes, as Emily says, stay safe, take care wherever you are, whatever you're going through. Just know I'm here for you. Join us if you have any questions or you need help. Reach out to me. Cheers, y'all. See y'all next week. And stay safe. Drink good whiskey. And see you next week. I need an outro. If you have an outro idea, leave it in the comments now. Cheers.